Okay guys, we're all set to go again in the VP4 2017 US Open. We've got a match due to start in about 5 minutes and both players are in the lobby. We have ZeCarioica from Brazil, who is all set to play Magician, and now Magician was in the lobby. Where is he? Then he's there. So it's Brazil versus England. This is a round 4 match on the winner's side, and it's a race to 16. And if you missed it earlier this afternoon, we had the one lost side match in round 7 between Mr. Bill and Mof with a Pat, and that match is now on the VP4 US Open playlist. You need to go and watch it. I'm saying nothing, go and watch the match. But very quickly, just to cover a couple of things, Larry played his match this morning and against Cobra, and Cobra won out by 16 racks to 11. We have the match that we're going to watch in a minute or two, and we've also got a match after it between Cue Ball 70 and Tommyue, and that's going to start scheduled at 9 PM. This match starts at 7:30, so this match could go beyond the 90 minutes. But whatever happens, as soon as it's finished, we'll jump into the Cue Ball 70 match, provided it goes ahead, which hopefully it will. And the other thing to mention is that Yamaguchi Taru sent me a message while I was away at my dinner, and he's already arranged his match with Cobra. And let's go up to the top of the bracket. Their match is going to start tomorrow morning at 6:30 AM GMT, and I'll be there for that one because I have got the next 3 days off, and I'll certainly be there to catch that one. So we've got 2 matches tonight, hopefully, and the one early tomorrow morning, and we'll have them all if we can get all the players in. So still a few minutes to go. And it's hard to say how this match will go. Magician has been a wee bit of a surprise to me, principally a snooker player, but I don't even think I've seen him play in this tournament yet. I haven't seen one of his matches. But I think, being the snooker player, I'm guessing that he'll be a bit more steady than ZeCarioica. ZeCarioica can pop balls. He does flash at them more often than not. And at some point, that's not going to work. But we'll see how he plays. Can't judge a book by its cover. And the tournament is really shaping up. We've got a lot of very good players left in it, and you would think that these two guys are fighting to get in the money. I would say that neither of the two of these guys have the game to go all the way. I think there's far too much strength and depth in what's left in the field for the winner of this match to progress. In fact, that's what I meant to have a look at and see who they're actually scheduled to play. So if we look at the bracket and we move across, we can see that the loser of this match will play Tony Sam, and that will be a tough match for whoever ends up playing Tony. Tony's getting better round by round, and of course, if you didn't get a chance to see Tony's last match, there's not an awful lot to see. Biggs didn't get a rack on the board. He had 2 or 3 chances but couldn't take any of them, and it was all too easy for Tony. Won the match 11-zip. I didn't get to hear anything about how the Larry Cobra match went, but there was that 5 rack difference between the two of them in the end. But the match to look forward to is tomorrow morning, because that is definitely 2 potential winners that we have. Cobra and Yamaguchi Taru, very, very strong players, and it was very difficult to call. Right. So looking at the clock, the room should be up. 2 players are in. Let's go. And we're underway. We've had a change of cloth from the last match. And we've had a dry break, all the balls still on the table. Well, if you look at the 3 ball, we've got a potential, well, that's a great straight line. We've got a potential 3-9 combo, but it's going to have to be a 2-8 combo to start with for ZeCarioica. Well, he's hung up the 8. The Magician just needs to touch the 8 ball with this 2 ball. He doesn't want it to run away, but he needs to get the cue ball back up so he can have a shot at the 2. Doesn't want to block himself off here. Well, the 2's gone in. The cue balls fell short. And had he been anywhere up the table, anywhere up here, he would have had a much easier attempt at a combo. He could play a billiard, he could go for the combo. And in it goes. Where's the cue ball going though? Is he okay? Yes, he's okay. So the first rack on the board to Magician. The break goes back to ZeCarioica. Again, I keep reminding you guys, the rules in this tournament, it's alternate break. There are no jump cues in the tournament, and the 9 ball is open. It's a wild on the break, so if it goes in, you win the rack. And ZeCarioica's out of shape on the 3, I think. Or can you see enough of it? It's pretty tight. I think he might be able to just get enough of it. Looks okay from here. Then again, maybe not. And he's got lucky. Well, lucky from the point of view the 3 doesn't have a direct path to the pocket, but that looks a fairly straightforward 3-8 combo. But it's missed. So let's see if ZeCarioica can run out. Now if he can run through and avoid the 9, he should get out into the table for the 7. Doesn't want to hit it too hard and go wrong side of the 7. And that's okay. So just to 8-9 to tie the match. Break back to Magician. 1 rack all. And no shot for ZeCarioica. So either a kick at the 1 or a push. Now this is where you have to be careful. Now he's played the push. And he could be in trouble if Magician gets this connection with the 1 right. If he's looking for cover, there's plenty of cover. He can easily get the cue ball back amongst those balls at the top end of the table. Don't know what he's trying here though. Well, he's played the combo. A bit of a pointless exercise considering you've no guarantee of where the 1 ball's going, so now he's got himself in trouble. And the table's wide open if he doesn't get this hit. So, ball in hand, chance for ZeCarioica to do the run out. And that's something you wouldn't be allowed to do in real life. Stick the cue ball onto the object ball, that'd be a foul. He's going to have to be delicate with this one unless he plays it long. But he's still got to baby this in if he's going to hold for the 4. Managed to do that. So here's the one that can go wrong. Getting back up for the 5. Should be going off the end rail in behind the 6. And just almost gone too far. He should still be okay, but he needs to again be careful with the pace in this cue ball. If he runs too far, he's going to leave a blind pocket shot on the 6, but left himself too square in the 5 and missed it. And really it's I would imagine it's going to be a bit like that, where either player's making mistakes and it's just a question of how many that the other player can actually take advantage of. The Magician didn't manage it there. So a possible cut, more likely a bank, but it looks like the cut. But the cue ball, unless he checks this up, is running up to the top right hand, so he's played the bank, hit it too hard. And this is the difficult one to judge, drawing back off the 5 from deep in the pocket. That's actually not bad. And he should avoid the 9. And if he plays this with a bit of right spin, it should go around the angles, come down the left hand side of the 7. He wants to go that way, there and there. And I think he's a bit too beefy with this one. Overhit that too much, and now he's got a problem. That's almost a good recovery. Gonna have to dig out a good one in the 9. Once again, these players are playing the banks, but they're hitting them too hard. You've got to hit them firm, but when you hit them too hard, the object ball doesn't take the angle. So, Magician had his chance there. ZeCarioica sinks a 9. He goes into the lead. Once again, it's a dry break. Don't think there's been a ball potted in the break so far, and we're into the 4th rack. A check on the stream. The stream once again looks good. Check him in, he's in the room. Well, we've got the 2 players and 2 spectators. I'm one of them. And this is the type of thing that I would have thought Magician would be more adept at, is actually with a snooker mind. The safety side of the game is something he'll probably use a bit more, or I would expect him to use a bit more and take advantage of it. That's the thing, you know. It's all very well playing good safeties and getting opportunities, but you have to be able to take them. So Magician's got a chance. He's got ball in hand. Now, if anything, he wants to... Well, he's looking as if he's going for 3 fouls. He needs to get this cue ball tight though. Well, that makes it difficult. 6 balls in the way of a kick from the right rail. Now, if I was ZeCarioica, I would cut my losses and split these 3 balls up to spread them apart and not make it as easy to get a snooker. So now Magician has a decision to make. ZeCarioica got the hit, and Magician way offline with that 3 ball. The 7 ball is the issue on the left hand side. 9 balls blocking the pocket. So you've got to plan ahead here and try and get some sort of shot off the 6 ball to get into the 7, 8 and 9. And he's done it from the 5, and of course he's missed the bank. So now it's open. And once again, Magician has to take advantage of this sort of stuff. But he's offline. I think that's really what the difference is just going to be. Both players are going to be missing shots, and it's really down to whoever takes more chances when they get them and puts the rack away. It's going to be another bank or a cut. The bank would be the better shot to hold for the 9. Well, it's double bank, but it all counts. So the gap is now there. ZeCarioica has a 2-rack window, leaving 3-1. Magician breaking open rack number 5. He's going to have a thin cut down the rail. Needs to watch the scratch in the right middle here. Well, he's played that well. A delicate cut into the middle. I thought he'd have played it long, but he's sitting nicely on the 2. Well, that's a bit farther than intended, so now he's got the wrong angle. The 4's fine where it is, but he wants to avoid hitting the 5 and the 9 here. And with that in mind, he's all over the place there with that shot. ZeCarioica trying to squeeze the 3 past the 4, and he's got away with it big time. Got to play that with left English off the side rail to kick into the 3. Well, he's got better eyes than I have. There's no way I would have been able to catch the edge of that 3 ball, but it's not gone safe. Well, these sort of slamming shots are getting ZeCarioica way out of line, where he's going to have to keep pulling shots out to keep runs going. And everybody knows that that just does not work. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught out. This is another difficult chance for Magician. The snooker brain again is working, looking for the safety, looking to tuck the cue ball in behind the 6. He's not got it. And that's short, so this is a better chance. And he has to actually just, if he's going to do anything and keep it simple, he just rolls the 4 in. He'll be seeing enough of the 5 if the cue ball runs through, so he can get past the 9. And no need to slam at that. If he'd just taken his time and looked at the angle that he had, he could have just rolled through. Albeit it would have been a long 5 ball and not very good chance of getting on the 6 where it is now, but well, that's changed things. The 6 is in the open, and ZeCarioica can see the edge of the 4. So Magician is going to have to address this very quickly now. It's an untidy mess of a start for him. There's nothing in any of these racks other than the mistakes that's been made, and he's going to find himself 4-1 down any second. So we're into rack number 6, and yet again It's a dry break. Entirely the wrong angle in the 1 ball because the 2's hidden behind the 4. Well, he's done his best there. I think he can see enough of the 2. And look where the 3 is. And the 3 goes. It doesn't go now. So, ball in hand. And ZeCarioica doesn't fancy the run out and looking to put Magician in deeper trouble and looking for a second foul. Magician gets the hit. This time ZeCarioica's got to go for the run out. Now he has to get the angle on the 4. And he can stun off the 4 over to the right, over that direction for the 5. And that's a good shot. Better controlled. But missing the cut, and this time it's open for Magician. Now this has to be put away. He won't get any easier chances in this. And this is all about controlling your pace. Don't go beyond the 7. We've seen it time and time again. You don't want to finish here or here. You want to be anywhere up there to have a shot on the 7. And that's ideal. And he's got the nice angle. Can go up the left hand side for the 8 ball. And he's okay, I think. And he's got that slight angle to come out behind the 9. For the 9 in the same pocket. So Magician is going to get 1 back. Still trailing by 2. And it's his break in rack number 7. And will a ball go in? Well, something's gone in, and what's more, the 9 ball is hanging, well, not hanging, but it's right in that top right hand corner pocket. So this shot for Magician has to be played carefully. Whatever he does, he needs to make sure that the 9 ball or the 1 ball doesn't go close to the 9. So rather than that, he's going to push the 9 in. And that'll be respotted. Well, the shot, the tempter is there for ZeCarioica. And if he just runs through, he should be on the 3. Now, will we see the run out? A bit of traffic up there to avoid, so he doesn't block himself out in the 4. And he's got the gap. And the same thing applies to this 5 ball. There's a window between the 8 and 9. Or he could go over to the left hand rail. And that's gone wrong. He's still got a very thin cut, but Not what was intended. And now he's back in line. Easy to drop behind the 7. Well, he's played that wrong. He's drawn it off it. He should have just stunned it. The cue ball had the angle to drop behind the 7. So now the cue ball's travelling again. And it's got to be tighter positional play. That's the target. The thing about Virtual Pool 4 is you don't need to have it, but in order to be more successful, you have to get better positional play. And this is a bit square again, this 9. But in it goes. And the gap is opened again to 3. And another ball has gone in. 5 balls gone, but no shot in the 1. And that's a good one. Easy kick though. And if he plays this with a bit of left hand spin, try and kick right in behind the 1, he's got a chance of banking the 1. Got it thin. But more importantly, he's got a good safety. And sometimes a change in strategy is what you maybe need to try and change the flow of the match or get yourself into the match. But ZeCarioica has played a good kick in return. Easy enough to get out of this problem. In behind the 4 and kick the 1. That's going to bounce out. So a chance again. Cue ball, 2 balls quite tight, and he's going to be hooked, I think. The old kick and hope here. And he's knocked a 3 onto the 6 and it's gone in, and he's sitting back on the 2. Oh. Well, chances are coming thick and fast for both players. It's a pattern I think that's going to go throughout this match. It's all down to who puts them away. Well, this is another must-win rack because they're all sitting just waiting to be nudged in, and it looks a simple enough job. Now he doesn't want to get too clever with this. If he goes over to the right hand side, doesn't want to get close to that 8 ball, he could block himself out. He could block himself out. That was poor. Big window between the 8 and 9 to have a shot in the 7, and there's no excuse for that. That's another chance gone, and what's more, he just punched the 7 around the table over the pocket. was a bad one. And he's not got away with it this time. But Magician can't be relying on this sort of way to win racks. He has to make things happen. And he has to cut out the mistakes. So we're back to 2 rack deficit. Into rack number 9. Cue ball. Close to scratching. But it's come up dry again. And this is not an easy table. And the old heave-ho, hoping a combo. And he's got away with it. The Magician doesn't want to get involved in any of this stuff. He just needs to stick to his game. It's got him this far in the tournament. Well, that's going to be ball in hand. No rail after hitting the 1 ball. But it's still an ugly table. Well, no attempt to get on the 2, so he's looking to just edge the 2 and hide the cue ball down here at the bottom of the table. Well, I thought he could have played that a bit better because it's not a difficult kick directly off the side rail. And he might get lucky if he plays this at the right pace. Cover. Well, he went for the old hit and hope and scratched. So we're going to see a 2-9 combo attempt here down the rail. And as long as the 2 ball doesn't hit that middle jaw, it should be pretty good. And in it goes. So it's now 6-3 to ZeCarioica. But I don't think it'll take too much to get back on track here for Magician if he just settles himself here and gets a wee bit better touch. Now if he can get out onto the 2, we've got a possible 2-9 combo. Well, I don't know whether he was thinking about that at all, but he's overhit it. Unfortunately there, he's nudged the 3 in and still got a shot in the 4. He's got to pick that angle and hold for the 5. It's not a great angle. But he's played the 4-9 combo. And where's the cue ball going? Well, he's okay. So that's one way of getting yourself out of a problem. And as I say, I don't think it's going to take too much for him to get himself into this game. There is not much difference between the 2. Now, well, the 1 goes from that side, and it certainly goes looking at it there. And now the angle's good to just stun across to the right middle pocket for that 6 ball. Well, he's using the rails, but he's still got the pace almost right. Got a good enough angle to get on the 7. He has to make sure he gets up the table. He has to be here. He has to be playing from here. He can't leave it short. So he's got to get the pace in the cue ball. And that is short. So now he's got a difficult one. And this is where, if there's any criticism, it's just that accuracy in the position, but he's got out of that one. Now, how does that 8-ball look? Well, the angle's there, a little bit of top and right, and around the corner he's going to come over. If he goes off there, he's going to come off the rail and over here for the 9. That's too hard, is it? Is it going to hold up? That's not bad. So Magician gets another one back and trailing by just the 1 now. And ZeCarioica breaking up in rack number 12, leading by 6 racks to 5. And it's dry again, but it's safe. Not the best of push shots. Where's the cue ball going to end up? He's okay, he's on the 2. Now, he has to get an angle where he's not going to hit that 6 and 7. And that isn't it. He's got no way of getting back in the 5 unless he glances off the 6 and somehow... sorry, I'm forgetting about the 4. Same problem, he needs to just use that 6 and 7. Well, that's worked out not bad. I forgot about the bloody 4-ball there. This will need to be good. Across the table twice. And that's where he was just trying to sort of gently coax the 4 in. That had to be played firmer to let that cue ball take the course it was going to take. It would have went over to the left hand side and been sitting nice on that 5. Here's another chance. Not a great angle, but a big draw off the side rail. He's went for the bank. And somehow he's got it. And now he's got a nice angle. That looks a bit strong. If he kisses a 7, he's fine. And that will do it. Now, how straight is he on this 6? No, that's fine. Ideally, you want to draw back about 3 or 4 inches on this 7. And I think, how's that looking? Well, I think he's still okay. Can run through slightly, or he can draw back. The little run through would be the simpler shot. He's left himself high. And it goes. So Magician trying his best to get back on level terms. He's going to have to work at it again. Back to trailing by 2. And another ball has gone in the break. And the 2 ball has gone. But still no luck on the next ball. Well, did he play that or did he not? We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Now he doesn't want to overhit this. He's going to have to leave the high cut in the 4. He has to be playing from here. He can't rely on trying to get into that gap along there for that 4. He has to be playing the high cut, because that's the simplest way of getting on the 5. And that has been overhit by quite a margin. So now he's got no shot other than looking for a decent safety, and he's got that. He can spin along the rail behind the 8 and 9 and bank that 4 to the left hand side. Well, I don't think there's any difficulty getting round a 9. I don't even think he needs to. He can just clip the 4. And Magician, well, he could have been in a lot more trouble than this. And Magician will probably play a similar little feather on the 4 and try and get back behind the 8 and 9 here. Just needs a light touch. Well, I don't know what he's thinking there, but that's just a sellout. An easy enough safety shot, and I don't know what he was planning, but it's not worked out. So ZeCarioica, provided he just, I think he can see enough of this 6. Barely. Just a simple roll through. So this 9 ball to take it back to a 3 rack lead. 8 racks to 5. Seven ball goes in, and this time there's a shot in the 1 for ZeCarioica, and he has an angle to drop behind the 2. Well, across the table and over to the left here, he needs to watch the scratch, so but a little bit of bottom left can bring the cue ball that way, or maybe even down here, so he's got a shot in the 3, but he tried to go the other way and the 9 ball was in the path, and he's got away with it again, I think. Now, can Magician judge this little kick onto the 2? And how's his luck? Well, this is going to be a toughie. Very thin cut in the 3. Went for the bank instead. And provided he can get round for this 5, he has a chance. The pressure's back on him. He's trailing the 3 racks. He's got a good opportunity, and he knows he has to take it, but this is a test. This 5 ball, I mean, this is much easier on this game than it is in real life, but even so, it's still a tough cut. Very easy to overdo it and just cut it to the short rail at the end. Well, he's used every inch of that pocket there with that one. I mean, whatever you do, hit it gentle. You need to keep control of this 6 ball. that's worked out fine. Now, this shot, I'd play it twice across the table. He's babied it. I always prefer to just let it run. It keeps your rhythm. So once again, it's 1 back, and he's back to trailing by 2. And it's Magician's break. And something flew into the corner on the left-hand side at the top. There's the 4 as well. I think the 3 balls have gone in the break. The 2, the 4, and the 6. But how's he on the 1? No shot. Well, I'd just be playing the push out and leave the 1 where it is. Well, that's a nice shot. That was well thought out. And that's got ZeCarioica in a little bit of trouble. He can easily get the kick, but you just got to ride your luck to keep it safe. Well, I'd be happy with that one. But Magician can do the little punch in the 1 and try and nail the cue ball to the 8. He hasn't managed that, but he's still got the cover, and still not a difficult one to kick at. Well, ZeCarioica will take that. It's not an easy shot in the 1. There's a danger of the scratch into the top right hand pocket if he goes for it. And I think he's having a look at that. That's what's probably concerning him. And he looks as if he's trying it the other way or trying the bank. We'll soon find out. He's went for the cut in the right pocket, and he's unlucky. That was a good shot. Blocked out by the 9. And again, it's an easy kick. He wants to hit this behind the 3 if he could possibly do it that way, but he's going the other direction. But if he sticks with this direction, he can try and get it right behind the 3 and punch it up the table and try and keep distance between the 2. Well, he's playing the gentle route, but that's not hit a rail after it's hit the object ball, so it's made it easy for ZeCarioica. So a tactical mistake there by Magician. He should have tried to punch the 3 up the table than trying to play the delicate shot, because he's failed to hit the rail, and coming in behind the 3 ball, that was always going to be the case at that speed. Well, another tough one on the 8. He's played it well. A nice pace and sitting perfect on the 9. So ZeCarioica is halfway home. He's leading by 9 racks to 6. But this match, I've got a feeling, could just go either way. With the run of a couple of balls, that's all it would take. Well, Magician can pot the 1. And if he gets the pace right, he can actually drop down on the 2 past that 6. It's not easy, but the shot is on. And he's fell short. Well, he could possibly try a wild billiard on the 9 off this too. He's looking at it. That's what he's lining up. Well, I don't know what he did there. Did he play the combo the other way? It doesn't matter. He's back in trouble. It's not gone safe again, so it's another chance for ZeCarioica, and he's just picking up the pieces here. The way the pattern's going, Magician's running out of line, not getting it safe, and ZeCarioica is just helping himself. But that pattern could easily change the other way. It definitely could. Well, that's a bit straight, so it's going to be a long 6 ball. And likewise, it's going to be a long 7, so that makes it more difficult to get back up for the 8. So this is the one that counts. Getting the 7 and getting it onto the 8. And he's played that well. Well, there's the mistake. Trying the gentle cut to hold for the 9, and it's a gift for Magician. So we're into rack number 17. It's a dry break from Magician. It's a slam from ZeCarioica. Well, the 1 does go, but this is a... Well, this is an old slam and hope as well. And he's potted the 2. He's got a very thin distance cut in the 1, but he's got an easy safety as well. Now let's see what he's thinking. And he's gone for the safety. And well, it's easy to spin around the 8 and hit the 1. He played that at the right pace. He just didn't have enough spin on it. That is the right pace to play a shot like that, to let the spin take its course and get the arc on the cue ball. But he just didn't have enough spin on it. So it's ball in hand for Magician. And if he's going to fall foul of his own positional errors here, he's missing out. It's not a difficult run out. Really just needs to either stop the cue ball there or just come back an inch or 2. You've got to keep it simple. That needs to hit the knuckle and bounce out, and that'll do it. He's got to be careful with this. If he's lucky, he can nudge that 8 and just hold on the 6. And he's tried to be cute, and he's made a complete hash of it. And that's a confidence thing, that error. He's nervy, he's trailing, and he's not going through with the shot. And that's not a good sign. And once again, it's ZeCarioica looking to just pick up the pieces. And this has happened far too many times now, as far as Magician's concerned. But ZeCarioica, well, he's riding his luck. Missed a cut in the 7 and he's got it safe. And this is not easy to get safe. And this would need a very thin feather on the edge of that 7 to get the cue ball back up the table and keep that 7 close to the rail. Where he's went for the old heave-ho. And we'll probably see the same thing here in a second. And that's a much better bank here for ZeCarioica. If he doesn't get it the first time, he'll get it in the next one. Up at the top end of the table. But in it goes clean. And he's on the 8. Not a great angle in the 8 because he's running away from the 9, but he maybe doesn't want to try too much with this, with the cue ball. And he did try too much. And is he going to pay the price this time? So it's a cut in the 8 or a bank in the 8. And he's overhit that slightly again. Still expect him to get this. This is not a difficult pot. But this to take him back to trailing by 1. Now I've just got the feeling that this rack that we're about to see could have a very important bearing on the outcome of this match. ZeCarioica's broken off. The 1 and the 2's gone. He's got a thin cut on the 3 into the middle. And can he avoid the 6? No, he couldn't. But that's helped him. He's got a shot in the 4. And the pressure's on ZeCarioica a bit here because he knows he has to run this out to keep his gap. Well, that's pretty straight, so he doesn't want to try and do too much again with the cue ball. And he doesn't need to do anything here. Just cut the 6. He's on the 7. Unless he runs across and hooks himself behind the 9. And it's more than likely he's just going to baby the 8 ball in and leave the long 9. So in it goes, and ZeCarioica defends his lead. And he's now 6 racks from home, leading by 10-8. And Magician just cannot get himself back on terms. So it's a dry break. No real shot in the 1 here for Magician. Send a 1 ball up the table. And that was a very poor safety. Didn't even think about the cue ball there. He should have been stopping the cue ball at this bottom end of the table. And he's left it open for... ZeCarioica's left it open for Magician. But is he going to be good enough? to run this rack. Well, he could pot this natural and just let the cue ball run over to the 5 and the 6. He would still have a shot in the 3. It's again about not being too ambitious with the cue ball. Take your medicine and just pot the 2. You should still have a shot in the 3. And he's tried to draw and hold for position when he didn't need to. And that tells me he's not really thinking 100% and looking at what the table's like. Because the natural angle would have run the cue ball to the 6 and the 5. It wouldn't have been ideal in the 3, but it would have been a simple enough shot to play to get on the 3. And meanwhile, ZeCarioica's out of line as well. So it's 6 1/2 here. This match has still got a lot of life in it. But the 5 ball is awkward. Now, I don't think there's anywhere here that he can play to get a cut on that 5. So, it looks like I can't read whether he can get that potting angle without fouling the 6. The more I look at it, the more I think he can. But it's touch and go. No. Is it going to go in? Well, it's gone in. Now that might be the bit of luck he needs, but he needs another bit here. He needs to bank this 6. It's a good bank though, as long as he doesn't slam it. If he misses it in the first pocket, it's got to go in the second one. But you can't slam it. He's slammed it clean. He's nudged it. Oh dear. He's nudged the 8 in and he's lying dead in the rail. Once again, this is a simple enough safety. He looks as if he's going for the bank again though. Reverse bank into the top right. And he scratched, and that was not the shot. He should have played the safety. The snooker brain isn't working for him either. So it's a gift for ZeCarioica, and more importantly, it's back to a 3-rack gap, provided he rolls a 9 in. And cue ball 70's wanting a word. Let's see what he's got to say. Well, he's in the lobby, so I wonder if he's going to be able to play his match. Well, Tommyue's here as far as I know. I've seen Tommy in the room. And meanwhile, ZeCarioica's scratched. Is Magician going to attempt the run out? No, he's not. He's going for the 5-9 combo. Well, the combo's been missed. And ZeCarioica's got no worries because Magician wasn't confident enough to try the run out. ZeCarioica has messed up the 7, but he's got it safe again. Now, Magician, if he gets this right, can have this tight on the 8. Can he control the pace though? Or is he going for the cut? And that's... Don't tell me he's... No, he's got it covered. I thought he'd actually just peeked out behind the 8 there. So cue ball 70 is lining up to play Tommyue in his one-loss side match in about 20 minutes. Well, there's a bit of luck. He's kicked a 7 in, and he's got a shot in the 8. And the 9's gone into a bankable position. And it hasn't gone in. Now, can Magician, for his sake, roll this 9 in? Because if he fails to get this rack, you begin to have your doubts as to whether he's going to try and work his way back into it. And that might be the way the course of events is going to take shape here. Another bank on the 9 for ZeCarioica. Once again, hitting it far too hard, and he's not going to get away with it this time. When are people going to learn that you play a bank, but you have to play it and let the object ball do what it's meant to do? When you slam them, they just straighten up and they don't take the path you're wanting it to take. So one way or another, Magician's managed to steal one back there. He's broke off, got nothing. The push out for ZeCarioica. But if I was him, I'd be pushing out and actually sinking the 1. But he's going for the kick. He's not pushing out. He hasn't called the push out. And he's played that well. And what's more, he's got the shot in the 2. Now this is where you have to control it. And he's got that pretty well. Should be able to drop behind the 4. But well off line with the 3. Well, this is as crucial a rack as the last crucial rack that I mentioned that Magician was going to shoot. And again, well off the map. And I don't think he thinks himself is up to the job here. ZeCarioica is having to pull out bank shots, so he looks as if he's running for cover. No, he's played the bank this time. Oh, I thought he'd got the double. Now, how many chances are you going to need to actually win this rack, Magician? Maybe you're going to have to work some magic, because he's straight, pretty straight in this 4. Going to have to squeeze an angle. It has to go in firm to get the cue ball out for this 5. You can't chicken out on it. You've got to hit it firm. And that is leaving it tough. Okay, he can come around onto the 6, but he has to play it dead weight to do that. If he's going to play the 6 into the same pocket as the 5. And overcut it by a big margin. And that's because he didn't play the right shot. Now, whatever you do in any billiard game, pool or snooker, you have to play the right shot. That only works if you have it in your mind what you're actually doing. That is to say, your natural instinct tells you especially if you understand positional play and how English works, your natural instinct tells you to play the right shot, and Magician didn't get that there, and that's where he's failing. You cannot chicken out on playing the correct shot to get the correct position, and he's leaving himself far too much work to do. And that little bit of change in mindset is probably all it would take for him to actually keep chasing ZeCarioica and try and catch him. But he's not doing an awful lot right at the moment. And that safety has gone awry. More than likely going to be a 7-9 combo. ZeCarioica doesn't need to slam the 6, he just needs to roll through and try and get as straight as he can on the 7. Oh, well, here is the gift of an opportunity for Magician, and he has to make his mind up. Is he just going to play it dead and leave the long 7-9 combo, or is he going to try and get on to the 7? So let's see. Now this is a simple enough shot. You just play that 7 ball and ignore the 9. You play the 7 to the jaw and you've got to pot the 9. And he's got it. So he's back to 1, but he's never got any better than this. And the 7's gone in. Something else has gone in and he's on the 1, ZeCarioica. But the 6 ball is the problem, and he could take care of that right now, and he'd be very unlucky not to be on the 2. Well, he's thought more about that and forgot about the 1. And now there is a chance. Not an easy one, and not easy to get on the 2. And he's overcut it. And once again, he's left it on. And the mistakes are coming at the wrong time. Well, the shot to play is just to come back for the 3 into the right middle. And that's what he's lining up to do. Well, he's gone square. He should have taken that into the top left-hand corner pocket. He's now got work to do. And that's another instance of playing the wrong shot to give you the simplest way of getting on the next ball. And now ZeCarioica should be in trouble. And I don't think he can, because the 3's too close to the 6. And Magician needs to remember he's got to get to the rail. He can't be trying to be too delicate here. And that's what he's done. I could see it happening before it happened. He's just trying to be too delicate and forgetting about the rail. And it's another gift of a chance for ZeCarioica. Where's the cue ball going? Where is it going? Well, there is the break. There is the break for Magician. And this for 11 all. And has the fortunes turned? And from that break, no, they haven't. Nothing in the break. It's relatively safe. And ZeCarioica's went for the delicate cut. Now this time, with the scratch and with ball in hand, dare I say it, Magician has a chance to run the table and go into the lead for the first time, as far as I can remember. And I have to say, I don't have a great deal of confidence in him doing it. Now he's got to go through a couple of inches on this 4 ball. And he's done that. And he has to leave himself the angle to drop onto the 6. The 7 is a trouble ball. That's the problem one. And this will be an achievement if he can do the run out here. Now the next match is 15 minutes away. And whatever happened, oh dear, well, he's got that all wrong. And now he's left himself in trouble. The big chance to get himself into the lead. And ZeCarioica is taking a big risk there. Well, I can't see any way of getting on the 7 from this angle. If the cue ball goes the path it's going to take, he's going to go there and finish up here somewhere. Now that 7 will cut, but he has to get a really accurate positional shot to be able to get it. Now that looks not bad. Now that's an excellent shot. What a time to get your best positional shot of the night in. And he's missed it 8. So a simple 8. Either a little run through and a little spin on the rail, or a little stun. I'd expect him to stun it. And he's used a little spin though, and that's got him there. Doesn't matter how he does it, as long as he's got there. And for the first time in the match, unless somebody reminds me otherwise, Magician has got himself into the lead. Now can he sustain it? And that was a poor shot by ZeCarioica in the 6 ball that gave him the chance. And for really the first time, Magician's taken that chance at the right time for his sake. Well, that's in dangerous territory there, the 1 ball. He's banked to 1 and he's stuck himself behind the 2 and 5. There might be another chance for Magician here. This match is on a knife edge now. I cannot say who would win this. But it's a good safety. But a good chance. Oh, the double kiss. The double kiss there, the dreaded double kiss. But he's got away with it. And the mistake has been made. Now the 5 ball, we can see it goes. It's getting onto it that's important. And that's trouble. Now he has to roll this in dead weight into this bottom right hand corner and leave the 4. The 4 is there for the potting. And he's hit it far too hard. He just needed to roll it in. But now he's got the angle. He can get down here onto the 5. But it needs a good one. He's overcut it. and that's not a bad outcome. If you're going to get it wrong, you're better overcutting it like that. And he's got a bit of luck though, hiding behind the 6. A good kick. And the 5, well, the 5's actually not in any better position because the 6 ball's now in the equation here and the 7's blocking the pocket. This is a bit of a hit and hope. Slam the 4 in and get the cue ball moving and just try and get lucky. Now, is he playing the cut onto the 7? Let's have a look what he's sighting up here. Or is he lining up the billiard? It looks like the billiard from the 5 to the 7 with the cue ball. And he's played it dead weight. And that's a nice controlled shot. What's the angle he's got here? Well, the shot here, a little bit of drag and come in behind the 8. You can avoid hitting the 8 ball here. And he's putting a fair bit of top here. I don't know what he's thinking. Can he squeeze up? Again, it was a shot that wasn't played with a lot of confidence. ZeCarioica, if he can hold the cue ball, and he's done well. So the 8 and 9 to get it back all square. So we head into rack number 25 and it's Magician breaking off. If the cue ball keeps running, ZeCarioica's got a shot in the 1. Well, that was not the shot. That's just relying on luck to get on the next ball. And you cannot rely on luck in this game. He's got the bank and he's on the 3, and it's unconventional to say the least. Well, this is going to have to be delicate to hold for the 5. Cue ball wants to run up behind the 8. And that's actually played quite well. A little kiss in the 8 ball. Just holding up the cue ball. Well, this one, well, the angle he has to be playing the 7 from that angle. Unless he goes across and comes across here, but that's dangerous. You've got to play the percentage shot and get the cue ball from there. And that's what he's done. Nice angle to drop behind the 8. Oh dear. Oh, he's got away with it again. Trying to be too delicate. Well, Magician has a safety, but you feel that if he puts this 7 ball near the 8, ZeCarioica is either going to play the thin safety, and that's why he sent the cue ball towards the 8. That's probably the better thought out shot. Well, there's a tempter. This is not an easy cut, but it's off the rail. And if he gets the cue ball across the table twice, he should have a shot in the 8. What is he going to do? Oh dear. Well, in the end, he's done nothing other than leave it open for ZeCarioica. Not the right time to play a shot like that, I'm afraid. I think he should have went for the cut in the 7. I think the stage it's at in the match, having got himself back into it, when you get those chances, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and go for them. The old saying is, he who dares wins. Now, is that getting there? Yes, it is. So, ZeCarioica crucially goes back into the lead, needing only 3 more racks. And we've got about 3 minutes before the next match starts. And as soon as this match is over, we will go into the cue ball 70 Tommyue match. Both players are here as far as I'm aware. And Magician, an ambitious bank combo attempt there, I think. Well, Magician has got a good chance to get this safe. Thin off the 1. And cue ball back up towards that 9 ball up in the far corner. That's one way of doing it. Needs to be careful of the scratch though. That's always the risk you take playing this shot. He's knocked it 8 in. Same shot again though. Thin cut the 1. A good bit of right spin in the cue ball and try and tuck the cue ball back up where he is at the moment. But he doesn't look as if he's playing that. He's going the other way. Well, any prizes for guessing what's going to happen here? Oh, he's going to cut the 9. He's cut the 9. And he said, well, if he played that, that was a good call, but I think he got lucky. But more importantly, it opens the gap, and it's 14-12 to ZeCarioica. Magician's broken dry, and the 1 ball's hanging over the pocket. And ZeCarioica looking for the run out. And these balls are perfect. Well, that's made it more difficult. But he's got a gap to get up behind the 8, which he's managed to do. Wrong side of the 5. Now the cue balls. Sorry, wrong side. I'm forgetting the 4 again. I'm too busy looking at the bloody 5 ball, but he's played that perfect. I'm getting excited here, folks. Well, that's finished a bit straight. So make your mind up what you're doing. Draw it back. Leave it long. Now it all hinges on this 8 ball. And that is a pressure shot he's left himself. And he's played it well. So this 9 ball to go to the hill. And the other match should be started now. We're just a couple of minutes past 9. And it's 15-12 to ZeCarioica. And nothing on his break. And this is the point of no return for Magician. Open table. A shot in the 1. Not a lot to do to get on the 2. He wants to stun into that 4 to hold for the 2. He's avoided that. Still got a shot. Can he hold himself together? Well, played a delicate little shot to nudge the 8, but forgot about the 2. Well, now, with this shot, Magician should have ZeCarioica in trouble. He's got to go for the thin edge off the 2 with left-hand English. And this is maybe not a wise move. I thought he was going to go for the bank there. He hasn't, but he's got away with it. I think this could be a 2-6. And ZeCarioica's got away with it as well. Oh, I think he's found a gap. Well, let's look at the 3 ball. The best he's going to get out of that's a 3-8 combo. And he's made his best effort to go on the 3. He's played a good shot. Unfortunately, he's missed the 2. And it's Magician that's going to have to deal with the problem. And he's tried to billiard the 9 in. Once again, not a confident shot that he wants to try and run out. And ZeCarioica having a blast, seeing if he got lucky. And once again, the thin edge on the 3 and get the cue ball down the right hand rail, looking for cover. And that's got Magician in trouble. Has to get lucky. And it's left wide open. So here is ZeCarioica's chance to progress into the next round. And straight away, he's made a proper balls up of that one. So, nobody wants to win this rack, but it's Magician. Let's get the best chance yet. This is not easy if he's going for it into the corner. Yeah. Well, it's going to be the 5-9 combo for the match. And this is unmissable, I think. So in it goes. And ZeCarioica wins the match by 16 racks to 12. And Magician ends his participation in the tournament. Now with that, we will very quickly jump into the Cue Ball 70 Tommyue match. And Cue Ball 70 is up 2-0. Remember, it's a race to 11. Now, the one thing I've said in tournaments gone past in Friday Night 9-Ball, Tommy seems to get a wee bit nervy, and he's going to have to drop any nerves that he's got against this guy. Cue Ball 70 has found himself in the one-loss side, but he had a good win in his last match against Acero. I'm sure it was Acero he's playing, and that's a very good Japanese player. And Cue Ball 70 came out on top. And Tommyue is going to have to be fully focused. But he's hung up the 8. And in the first match that Cue Ball 70 played in this tournament, he had a new mouse, he had nothing dialed in, and he was all over the place. But I'll tell you what, he'll have worked on it. He'll have spent a little bit of time getting himself set up. And, well, he can only get stronger. Tommyue's broken up in rack number 4. Banks the 1. No joy, but the 2's tied up. And no benefit in potting this 1 at all. And Cue Ball's got it safe. And even if you pot this 1, it's difficult to get a shot to actually hit the 2. I mean, it's improved slightly. And Cue Ball 70's buried behind the 6. And that's a good kick. And it's the 1 goes though. Now he needs a bit of luck here. If he gets this cut, he needs to hit something and get something moving. And that's finished perfect. He's on the 2. Well, perfect from the point of view you can pot the 2, but he's going to have to squeeze something here. Well, he's leaving a straight 4. And the pressure's on Tommy here. He's 3-0 down. He has to get this rack, you would feel, even this early on in the match. And the problem is right now, because he needs to get this cue ball right up here for the 6, and it only goes into one pocket, and that's the left hand one. And he got the cue ball there, but he's missed the 5, and there's a bit of luck. Cue ball 70 stuck behind the 7. This is ball in hand. The 6 ball goes past the 7, so let's see how Tommy holds out. He looks as if he's coming the other side of the 6. Well, I know where I want to be playing the 9 from. I want to be playing it from here. I don't want to be playing it from here. And I think he's finished 2 straight in this 7. He's got to get a lot of power into this. Now, the draw shot for position is not recommended, but he's actually played it with the bottom and a little bit of left, and he's shot. And that was a golden opportunity to get on the scoreboard. And that, I'm afraid, is just not good enough if you're going to be competing against players of cue ball 70s quality. You've got to take those chances. I mean, it sounds ultra critical, but that's the sort of level that we're at in this tournament now. Now that's not hit the rail, so it's a gift for Tommy. And that's at least get rid of the bagel, as they say. It's 3-1. Cue ball 70 breaking off in rack number 5. Nothing happening for him. A simple enough 1 ball. And what looks very likely to be a 2-8 combo, with no guarantee that he'll be on the 2 once he plays that shot. Oh, he's played that well, but he's got even more work to do. Managed to get the cue ball out. And as long as he avoids colliding with a ball, well, he's under hit that slightly. Needed to get that cue ball beyond the middle pocket. It's just once again giving himself more work to do to get on this 5. He's almost got the pace right. He's short again though. But if he plays the pot, he's surely got to be on the 6. But he's got to go through with the shot. You can't chicken out. You've got to go right through with it and get that cue ball moving. Well, he's just got there. Now he can go around the angle, so that would be the simpler shot into a big wide open space. Plenty of room, but he's playing the little baby shot. I don't like that. He's still got the angle to go on the 9, but oh dear, you see what I mean? You've got to play the percentage shot and get the cue ball right into the middle of the table. Well, there's another gift. Cue ball 70's done him a couple of favours here. And Tommyue has to work on his own way of playing the shots there. That shot that he played was a wrong shot. It didn't inspire a lot of confidence. But he's got away with it, and he's actually only trailing 3-2. This is why your mind has to be on the game, and you have to think about keeping it simple and playing the percentage shot. As long as you've got everything clear in your mind, then everything falls into place. And Tommy's strategy there was not a good one, and it just ended up in a little bit of a mess. Okay, he escaped with cue ball 70 scratching, but he needs to learn something from that one. But anyway, what matters most is he's still in the game, and he's only trailing by 1. And that's all you need to do, is just stick in the game, because cue ball 70's played a lot of real tournaments, a lot of tournament matches in pool. So he's got a game face, no doubt about that. It's awkward over the 7, but let's see if cue ball 70 can manage a run out here. Well, he's collided with the 9, but he's still got a cut, and he's going to have to play it delicate. He's going to leave himself high in the 4 if he plays it delicate. He could go up and down the table, and that's what he's doing, but he's scratched again. He can't avoid a pocket. Oh, but here's a prime example of what we're talking about. Here's ball in hand, and Tommy's got a simple enough 4, and just get the cue ball out into the table for this 5. And the way he's got it there, it's just a little roll through on the 6. And then if he pots the 6, he can run up between the 8 and the 9 for the 7. And then he leaves himself the 8. Now you have to have that clear in your mind. And he's gone a wee bit more. He's still got a nice enough angle. And I think he can avoid the 8. Just needs to pot it natural. The cue ball will do the rest. It's all about weight control. And he's a bit short, and now he's out of line. But once again, you have to play for that margin of error. You've got a huge gap to get into, and he's not made the mark. He's not hit that space. And that was always on the cards. And these are the little errors that Tommy's making, and that's, in the end, it will cost him. And this could be another factor as well. I've seen from one other player, when you come up against these high-ranking players, somehow numbers start playing in your head. When you see the player is ranked 200 points above you, you're dreading making a mistake for fear of what they're going to do to you, and that playing in your mind doesn't help your game. Well, this time the mistake's been made by cue ball. Hasn't left a lot on for Tommy though. Well, gets a nice little bank, but the 2 ball is fairly tight. There's a little gap. Now, if cue ball can avoid the double kiss here, he could have put Tommy in trouble. And he's avoided the double kiss, but the 2 ball just glanced off the 3. So it's 4-2 to cue ball 70. And it's a race to 11, remember. This is a 1-loss side. Now, just a quick reminder to anybody watching. Oh, sorry. I haven't read the chat for a wee while. Good evening. A quick reminder to anybody that's watching that Yamaguchi Taru and Cobra have set the time and date for their match in the winner's side of the tournament, and that will be played at 6:30 AM tomorrow morning GMT. That would be 1:30 AM East Coast time, and what would that be? 10:30 PM West Coast, or Pacific time I should say. But either way, I'll have my alarm set for tomorrow morning, and I'll be there to get it streamed and get it recorded for the archives of Virtual Pool 4. Meanwhile, Cue Ball 70 at the table, and you can see the difference in the two players. You'll get a guy who knows all the shots, who, well, having said that, I've just put the mockers on him. He's made an ass of this 7 ball. But he was playing that with a fair bit of English to get the cue ball around the corner, and he's barely got himself on the 8. I'm reading the chat. It says, check out my winning shot in the 8-ball Scotch final. Well, I'll do that when I've got nothing better to do. I won't do that right at this moment, if you don't mind. Well, was it a jammy shot? Tell me, give me a clue. And Tommyue has gotten another one back. How is the cloth blue in your stream and green in the room? Well, the cloth is blue in my stream because I've chosen blue. The fact is, you have chosen to leave it on the default colour. Surely you can work that out. Oh dear. You don't surely think that whatever colour I choose the cloth in my stream, that's going to be the colour in the room if you're in the room watching the match? Oh dear. I think you've been hitting the... I think you've been on the little funny potion tonight, having a little tincture. You take my mind off the game here. That's a good safety by Cue Ball 70. Oh, that's unlucky. Well, he's missed the kick in the one. His ball in hand. Cue Ball 70 has the 9 ball over the pocket, but he can't get to it, so he's just plotting his way out. He's looking around the table. He's looking at where he wants to be putting the cue ball, which is what everybody should do. Always plot your way around the table. That way you'll achieve a lot more success in what you're doing, rather than just banging at balls and hitting and hoping and relying on a bit of luck here or there. You've got to play the game. Now, I'm talking about lower rated players. If you only worked on how you approach the game, you can easily improve your game. You do that by watching the better players, watching how they play, watching where they're putting the cue tip and the cue ball. And the 4-9 combo goes in. And it's 5-3. dear. Well, you made me laugh principally by asking why. He's saying, how's the cloth blue and you're streaming green in the room? Oh, that's a crack of that. Oh, thank God I've got that on tape. I think I could show that for a few years. That could be a pub quiz question for Virtual Pool 4, that one. Oh dear. And what's worse is there's another 9 people in the room all reading this. Oh. Oh, that's made my night, that has, I tell you. Anyway, we are currently sitting 5-3 to cue ball 70. Goodness knows how Tommyue's got 3 racks on the board. He's had certainly a fair bit of help to get there. But Tommy, whatever you do, if you're listening to the stream, for goodness sake, relax and play the right shot. And don't be afraid to play the right shot. That's the only thing that's going to keep you in this match. You've absolutely nothing to lose. You're not expected to win. And when that's the case, sometimes that's when the lower rated players play at their best. You've got to hold your nerve. This looks good, and that's a nice one. That's straight out of the Tactical Geniuses book of safety shots, that one. And as I always say, there's lots of different ways of winning racks here. Just having a go at balls that are like 70-30 against you, getting position, is not the best strategy. Sometimes a good safety will give you the chance. Now, no acrobatics with this. You just pot the 3, you're on the 5. Now, he's a bit straight, so you could play the draw, you could go forward, but you need to go forward by a bit of right or left to get the cue ball on the left side of the 6. But he's leaving it long. And this is all about the pace, just controlling the run in the cue ball. And he's gone. He's still okay, but he needs to leave that angle in the 8, and he needs to get around the corner for this 9. This looks like what it's going to end up being. And this is a similar shot to the last time. He has to go around the corner, and if you just play the right pace, the cue ball will take its path, and you will finish here. And he's got there. The spin has done it. He's on the line. And that is a pass for Tommy for that shot. And that's a bit better. Maybe he is listening to me. And that might give him a wee bit more confidence. That's exactly how you have to do it. You have to think about what you're doing. It sounds obvious, but there's a lot of players play this game and they don't give a second's thought to actually what they're doing. And this is why the guys that are good at this game are good, because they know exactly what they're doing. It seems a very sort of obvious thing to say. I mean, straight away there, cue ball has played a tight safety. And that's it, the snooker brain working as well. You have to have every facet of the game to be able to be good at the game. Not just potting balls, but positional play, controlling the speed of the cue ball, and being able to run tables. So now cue ball's got the chance to prove that. He's got ball in hand. He's got all the balls on the table, and we'll see how he does it. So he's got the window, big window to get into. Now that's gone wrong because he's gone too far. And Tommy should be sitting on the edge of his seat ready to pounce. And this is going to be a test of Tommy's nerve if he gets a shot at this 4. Well, he's not got a real shot at the 4. So now you've got to plan what you're intended to do here. This isn't easy to get safe either. And that's just going to be, if it gets to the 6, he's fine. And it's got there. I thought that was going to finish short. Well, now there's a chance to get it safe. Bank that 4 back behind the 8 and get the cue ball 9 feet away from it. Well, he's gone the short way and he's done neither. And cue ball 70, I would think, is lining up the cut. It's off the rail and he should be on the 5. And that's the problem with those shots. Very easy to just knock the object ball into that jaw. So here is a chance for Tommy. Just pot the 4 and don't worry about the cue ball. The cue ball will be on the 5 as long as you don't hit it too hard. That's exactly how when I'm looking at that shot, if I was playing that shot, that's what my brain is telling me. You don't hit it too hard, you're on the 5, you don't have to do anything with the cue ball. And this is a little stopper in the 5. Now this one, you have to pot it and come off the rail. And this is where you have to go through with the shot. You pot it, come off the right rail as we look at it and get out into the table for the 7. And he's gone straight. Well, this is where you go either forward. No, he's got a slight angle. You can go forward or you can go back. And he's in between. So here's the pressure shot. And in goes the 8. So this 9 ball to get back on level terms. And we start again. 5 all. Cue ball 70 breaking open rack number 11. Now what was that? Went in the 4 ball into the top right. Well, he's got an ambitious cut on this one if he wants to risk it, but he's got a far better chance of getting a decent safety. But he's gone for it. Got a nice kiss in the 2. That's a little bit awkward again. Just the wrong side of the 5. And the cue ball's going to have to move unless he's going to leave a bank on the 6. He's going to have to get it in between the 7 and the 8. Well, he's drawn it, and I think he's overdone it again. And he's got himself out of shape for the second time in successive racks. But of course, the important thing is, in Tommy's behalf, is the fact that now that he's got ball in hand, he has to run them out. And it's not difficult. Two choices in what he does here when he pots the 7. And that depends on the angle he's got in the 7. Now, the angle he's got in the 7, he wants to go in there and out there somewhere for the 8. He needs to get there, and he's got there. So this is just a little stopper, I think. Or can he stun off behind the 9 for the 9 in the same pocket, or can he hold it? I need to get behind the shot to find out, but well, he's trying to stun and he's short, so it's a good bank, this 9. Not too hard. We've seen the banks that were played in the previous match, and most of them are far too hard. Pick the spot in the rail, hit it to more or less the diamond, not quite as close to it, but let the object ball run, and he's played it perfect. So Tommyue has pounced on the 2 errors by cue ball 70, and he's got himself into the lead. And what's more, he's broken off. The 2 ball has gone in. And he does have a shot in the 1. And he should be on the 3 if he gets the gap between the 4 and the 7. Well, he's managed to avoid any collisions. And he's still in business here. Now this shot, you're better to overhit it so that you go to the right hand rail and you don't do anything stupid and block yourself behind the 8 or the 7. Well, he's found a gap. And now he's got himself into trouble, leaving himself a huge distance between the 5 and the cue ball, so he's got that distance to travel to get there, and then he's got the same distance to get back up for the 6. It's got to miss the 8. And another one. A tough one in the 6. And he's got to have some shot in the 7. Oh, he's overcut it. How's his luck? Oh, it's pretty good. Let's have a look at that. That is a good outcome for Tommyue. He's left nothing for cue ball 70. And he's looking to run for cover. Maybe... Well... This is where you bite the bullet and you go for the bank. Not much point in trying to get this safe. You have to go all out for the bank, and it has to go clean because the 9 ball's blocking the second chance unless the 6 banks onto the 9 and knocks it in. But it is a good bank. He's just got to get the line. 6 is well off the rail, which is always a better guide for playing a good bank. I just overdone it. How's his luck again? Well, this time he's not got away with it. But, as I say, he had to go for that. So, under a little bit of pressure, cue ball 70 has the 8 and 9 to go, but shouldn't be any trouble. So we're at 6 racks all, and both players needing another 5 to continue in the tournament. The break off from cue ball 70 has come up dry, and Tommyue can get out off the rail on this one. He has to punch it in though. This is a little medium punch in the one, and cue ball off the rail, and he's got there. So another test for Tommyue, and he's left himself in trouble. Is he hampered by the 9? No, I think he's okay. So just a gentle run in the 3 and make sure he gets the other side of that 4 so he can come back for the 5. How does that look? He's the wrong side, but he doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to leave himself that angle to pot the 5. Make sure he's not too heavy with the pace that he's going to scratch. And the 7 goes past the 8. And now he's the right side of the 7, because he can kill the cue ball if he wants and take the 8 into the same pocket. Now this one is the test, because you can play it with inside English, which is what he's doing. You've got to get through with the shot though and get the cue ball into the table, and he's done it. So this to go back into the lead. And in goes the 9. And Tommyue is 1 rack in front and 1 rack closer to ousting one of the probably the outsiders for the tournament, cue ball 70. Just for the fact, the lack of game time that he's had, but in terms of experience, lots of it, and it's going to be a 1-9 combo after that scratch by Tommy. So this to very quickly get it back in level terms, and then it goes, and it's cue ball 70's break in rack number 15. 8 ball goes in. He's on the 1, and he's going to have to play a good one for this 2 ball. There is a very narrow gap for the 2, but if he gets down here, somewhere there, in fact, like that, he can make the thin cut that way. Well, he went all out, and he's found the spot. That was an excellent shot, but unfortunately, he didn't do the first part of it and get the 1. And Tommy's got the same problem from a distance. Potting the 1 isn't the problem, it's getting a sight on the 2. But he can easily do that He's overcut it. And he's, well, I say he's got away with it. And it's very tight for that one to go anywhere up that end of the table. And that looks good. That is excellently judged. Tommyue kicking off the rail. And needs a bit of luck if he gets the hit. Oh, that was unlucky. It was a good attempt. But this one ball is going to have to be played as a combo onto the 5. And that doesn't help to get on the 2. So there, once again, not a lot of advantage here unless he can guarantee he can get to the 2. And there's no saying where the 1 ball's going to end up. So he's looking at playing the safety, I think. And that kiss off the 2. Well, it's not made the 2 ball any better. Now, Tommy, this is a situation where you don't want to be slamming at balls. Because you don't want to nudge that 2 and open it up for your opponent. Tommy's backed into a corner in this rack because whatever he does, if he plays the deliberate foul and gives cue ball 70 ball in hand, he can go for 3 fouls and he can easily position the cue ball to get the breakout on that 1 ball, on the 2 ball, sorry. Well, Tommy's done exactly what he shouldn't have done. He's opened the 2 out. He's given ball in hand. And, well, let's see if cue ball 70 can do the rest. But that was not the right shot. It's just opened the table up for cue ball 70. And he's overdone that. Far too much on it. But he's got an easy safety. This is where the old luck comes into it. But I don't think he's getting any. So another chance for cue ball to go back into the lead. Got the angle, can get out and across for the 6. Oh, it's straight. So this is a test of control of the speed. And he's managed to squeeze the angle. And this to go 8-7. Well, the 8 ball and the 2 ball have definitely gone. Tommy, no luck at all on that 1 ball. And looking to push. Well, where the 3 ball is, cue ball 70's going for the 1 ball. Because if he plays the pot, natural pot, the cue ball is going off the rail. and somewhere up the table for a shot in the 3. So that was not the best push out by Tommy. That ball needed to be up on the end rail for it to be a good safety, and it just left cue ball 70 a free pot on it to get on the 3, which he's done. And he looks as if he's going to open up the gap, and it's going to happen at the right time for him. So this 9 for 9-7, and just 2 racks away from progressing. And with the break, 2 balls going in. Well, believe it or not, he's got the shot on the 1 here, and if he plays the right shot, he could actually disturb the 3 and the 6, but he's not risking it. He's looking for cover, but he's not got there. Now the only thing to be gained here for Tommy is when he pots the 1, if he gets the cue ball up the top end, he could have played the good snooker behind the 6, and he's not done that. And it's another chance for cue ball. He's still got to deal with that 3. And Tommy's the one that's going to be buried here. Or does the 3 pass the 6? No. But that's the shot that Tommyue should have been playing. But instead he's coming to the table and he's nailed against the 6. And that's going to hit the 3. But it's bouncing off the rail. So getting from the 3 to the 4 is the only problem here. And is that tracking past the 9? No, it's not. So another lifeline for Tommyue. Well, this is a tester. Now, the only thing that can work in his favour is if he cuts this 4 and he hits the 7. It's hard to say whether he's got a direct line to the 7, but if he does, that'll leave him a shot in the 6. And he's avoided it, and he's played it at the right pace. And he's got the nice angle on the 6 to just stun it in, and a little bit of bottom and off the rail and back up for the 7. Now anything but straight, and he's straight, absolutely dead straight, and he doesn't want to be trying to do too much with this. And look at where the 8 is though. Oh dear. Well, what the hell's he done here? He's actually corner hooked, and that's a disaster. The only place in the table you can stick the cue ball where you've not got a shot. And this is the old heave-ho with the amp on, and hope you get lucky. So cue ball 70 is going to go to the hill. Needing one more rack to go through. And it's Tommy breaking off in rack number 18, hoping for a ball in the break. and hoping to get a shot in the next one. 5 balls going in, and he's got a shot in the one. And that will do. And a little delicate 1 and a 2, and he should have the 3 ball into that left middle pocket. He doesn't want to put a lot of pace in this. He just has to pot the 2. Well, a little roll through for the 4 into the opposite middle. That'd be one method. He's stunned past it. Now, how does he get on the 6? Could come the bottom side of it, which is what he's doing. And that needs to slow up. He's running too far, and now he's out of line. Well, he's got a choice. He can risk playing the safety, which is what he's done. The 6 has gone to the rail, and he's got the cue ball tight on the 7. And cue ball's missed the kick. So it's ball in hand. And get yourself onto the 7. Well, it looks like the 8 ball into the same pocket. Hard to say what he's thinking here, but he's gone too far again. Didn't get a hold of the cue ball. He's let it run. So this 8 ball to stay in the tournament, because if he misses it, you would think it's all over. And he's played it well, and he's got the cue ball across. And he's looking right down the line of the 9. So it's 10-8 now. And cue ball 70 back with a break. Well, the 1 goes. Plenty of room past the 7. But Tommy is looking for the safety. He hasn't got it. And he could find himself in trouble in a minute or 2 here. Well, he's got there. He's just got there. An easy enough kick though. But now this is cue ball 70's chance to run out for the match. Oh, what's that 6 ball done there? That nudging the 6. Well, the 4 still goes, but he's got to get the cue ball pretty close to this 4. So he's going to run the 3 into the middle, miss the 5 ball, which he hasn't done. So Tommyue lives again, and the 5's gone safe next to the 7. Well, if you can see enough of the 4, he can bank it. Well, that's a foul, I think. Did he hit the 9 before he hit the 4, or did he hit the 9 after he come off the rail? He hit the 9 after he come off the rail. Tommy will be in trouble again. Easy kick again. But as long as he doesn't disturb the 5 and set this 4 ball running around the table, he should still have a chance to stay in the match. And this is risky. It's risky doing this. If he played the kick off the near rail, he would have no risk of hitting the 5 and the 7. He's hit it and got away with it. But if cue ball pots the 4 and gets out over to the right hand side, he's going to pudge the 5 around the table and leave Tommy stuck behind the 7. But he's not taking the risk now. I think Tommy's got the angle to have a go at this 4 and hit the 7 and the 5 here. All or nothing. Well, just as well. I don't think he went for that with a lot of confidence, but at the same time, he had a decent chance of a safety with that 5 and 7. What's he got? Oh, this could end up good. Oh, the 4 ball's not running. But the bank is on. The banks are open. Now, is he going to try and get the cue ball over to get the split? No. Keeping it safe again. And now that's finished in the worst possible place. Or has it? Yeah, he's hampered by that 8 ball. He needs to get this right if he's going to try and tuck the cue ball in behind the 5 and the 7. And he's played it well, and more importantly, that nudge on the 5 and 7 has opened up the 5 slightly, but you've still got to get there. So cue ball 70 is looking to tie something up here, I think. I don't think he's going to try and... Is he going to try and kick the 4? Yeah. Well, it's a 4-9 combo for Tommy. And this to get back within 1. Now he's used his extension, so he needs to be on the ball here. And this isn't difficult. And in it goes. So that good safety by Tommy is keeping him in the match. And it's Tommy's break in rack number 20. And the 4 ball has gone in, the 3 ball has gone in. Excuse me, and he's got a cut on the 1. Not an easy cut. Well, this is where you bite the bullet and you go all out, and he's gone all out and he's on the 2. Now, can he get the 5 and get right over to that right hand side for this 6? Because he really needs to get to the rail. Oh dear, what's he done here? Oh goodness me. At the worst possible time, with a chance to tie the match up and get into a final rack decider, he stuck himself right behind the 8 ball. And this is the old amp it up and bang it and hope. No point in going for delicacy here. You have to just whop it and get lucky. Well, it's fallen awkward. It is not easy, but cue ball 70 is going to have to just nurse this 5 ball to the pocket if he's going to hold for a shot in the 6. Unless he goes all out and comes across the table. If he pots the 5 firm, he can come across and out. That's a lot more work to do. If he gently pots it, then the cue ball's going to bounce and he's still going to have a shot somewhere from here on the 6. This is not easy, especially at this angle and this distance. And he's done it perfect. Now, the question is can he avoid hitting the 7? I don't know whether he can. Well, he's got the spin off the rail. It's blown him clear. And it's all over. Just a roll in the 8. And Tommy was 2 inches away from tying the match up and stuck himself behind the 8 ball. And that is extremely unfortunate. But it's cue ball 70 who goes through to the next round. And Tommyue, well, he did well. And it just went wrong at the wrong time there. And he was unlucky. So cue ball 70 wins the match by 11 racks to 9. And we will have a final look at the bracket tonight. And we'll see how that shapes up for the rest of the tournament. So if we go down, we can see that Tony Sam is going to be playing Magician after Magician's victory earlier on against after Magician's loss against ZeCarioica. Magician moved across the 1 loss side, and there's the result there from cue ball 70 and Tommyue. And cue ball 70 is going to play Wink at Me, and that could be a close match as well. And this match here, if I can find it, is a match that we are going to be watching tomorrow. At least I am. I don't know about any of the other guys, but I'll be watching it. Yamaguchi Taru is going to be playing Cobra, and these are 2 top ranked players are going to be battling it out tomorrow at 6:30 AM GMT. So if you don't get the chance to see it, you'll certainly be able to see it on my YouTube channel on the VP4 US Open 2017 playlist. It'll be added after the match is over, and you'll be able to watch a rerun of it. So that's the next one in the lineup tomorrow morning, and I will be there. So anyway, that's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Tommy was unlucky at cue ball 70. Got himself through in the end, and it was a bit of extreme bad luck for Tommy on that 8 ball getting hung up behind it, but that's the way it goes. So with that, folks, I am going to bid you good night, and well, depending on where you are and depending how keen you are, we might see you tomorrow morning for the Cobra match against Yamaguchi Taru. It should be a cracker. Goodness knows who will win it. It'll be worth watching. So good night, and we will see you again soon, folks.